Yeah, Tyreek Hill's family is saved after fire at Stars home. Firefighters put out large fire. Yeah, this is always weird. Rick Ross posts bizarre live report from Tyreek Hill's house fire. I got to be honest. If I'm a cop, I've got questions about this.
I do too.
I'd be like, listen, isn't that Tyreek Hill, a football player that punches people and throws rocks at people? Right? Isn't it that guy? Just the first thing I thought, guys, I don't know if we get a picture. We'll get a picture up in a couple minutes. Guys, if you can in the booth, get it going. It was an inferno, his house is done type of deal, all right? First thing I thought, I was like, well, you finally pissed off the wrong dude, bro. And no coincidence, while he was at practice, too. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, what a coincidence. He's at practice. Someone knows he's practicing right now. I'm going to go burn his house down. Just saying.
Just saying.
You never know.
Look at Paul's
Unfortunately.
Austin, just saying.
Cam, if I'm Miami PD, I'm not naive.
Sure.
I'm sitting there.
No, out of all the people,
no, I'd just be on the phone, Cam, if I was a sergeant, I'd pick it up and say, someone just look and see if this Tyreek Hill thing is arson, all right? Yeah. Just look into that.
Well, you remember, Gabe, what happened at the marina? They kind of brushed it under the rug. Those guys, the captain and the skipper, might say, you know what, maybe it's a good time to get Tyreek back here after that
right?
incident. Yeah, exactly. Holy jeez. That's crazy. Unreal.
And, on top of this, Tyreek here's NBC 6, South Florida. Tyreek Hill appears in walking boot while checking out house fire.
Wow.
Oh, we love the Bills this week. Go Bills.
Yeah.
They think the whole right side of their offensive line is also questionable, as is Terran Armstead, left tackle.
Huge.
Mostert didn't play last week. He's questionable. They got big problems on both sides of the ball. Their performance last week, as I said, was a lot worse than meets the eye because the Ravens had guys out and they still couldn't do anything. I'd be very concerned if I were a Miami Dolphin fan. And the Bills, although they've been lucky, very fortunate these past couple games against the Chargers and the Patriots where they had the edge in turnovers, I'd be very concerned if I were a Miami Dolphin fan in spite of the luck and the average play that Buffalo has displayed.
They find ways, though. It's all that matters. They haven't lost since that Philadelphia Eagle game. So you got the Bills and a bunch of teasers. Looks like your tease. You already had you cashed an Alabama teaser. You've already got Bama cashed. So you're playing the big boy teasers here. Houston Texans. So we had Brady Cannon on earlier. He was saying he likes, whatever, this game's going to be a close game either way. Anything else I'm missing here that we haven't gotten to?
Well, by the way,
I
did something. I did something with the Bills that I'd never do, and I crushed
and hold
zero.
On, shout out to everyone joining us on Sirius XM channel 159. This is Sports Rage. I am Morency on the SportsGrid Radio Networks. Paul Bovey kicking to us. What's going on, Paul? Keep on going there.
So I crushed zero with that Bills teaser, and the reason is because I knew the number was going to float in my direction, and it did. So I ended up teasing it when I believe it was 2.5. So I brought it. I do believe I brought it on a 10-pointer up to 10 the other way. Now. Yeah, and plus 12. Yeah, wow. So I utilize good numbers, and I do not believe, for reasons just referenced, that Miami has the capability to blow this team out. They could end up winning the game. Who knows? I mean, maybe they'll win by 3 or 7 by some miracle, but they're not blowing the Bills out here. So that was my play. And as far as the Texans go, I figured just like Brady, this will be a closer game. I gave myself a cushion with these two teasers where I have, I believe, the Texans plus 11 and plus 14. Okay, I grabbed it when it was a pick 'em, and I think it floated up to Texans -1 at this point. But this is a game that could go either way. Kenny Moore is back for Indianapolis, and that's huge because he is pivotal to their pass defense, which basically, Aiden O'Connell passed for nothing against the Chiefs, and even with 47 passes, he did manage to rack up 300 yards. But the concern was that Devontae Adams, 21 targets. I mean, if you're targeting a guy 21 times, completing 13 for 126 yards, the guy's got to be open. So I do believe Kenny Moore getting back him into the lineup is going to be huge for their defense, and it could be a close game.
What do you think, Paul, about Mason Rudolph, your guy? He gets in here, suddenly they win a couple of football games. They're 4-point favorites against the Baltimore Raven team. Obviously, Lamar is not playing in this game, but Baltimore are a pretty deep team, dude, and they won 24 consecutive preseason games for a reason. Like, they don't really mail anything in ever. So the guys on the field and Harbaugh himself, you're getting 4 points with these guys. Do you trust Pittsburgh to finish this off and punch their ticket and win this football game?
No, I don't. I don't think the Steelers are a very good football team. They've been playing better. I did go Mason Rudolph over passing yards. Look, Tyler Huntley, he can play. He's a backup. He's filled in competently before. And a guy like this, they sit on these games. They're waiting to get in the lineup. This is their time to shine. So I don't think this guy's just going to roll over. He will run. He will pass. I think he'll have some success. And as Brady pointed out, there's some incentives around the league. And one of those incentives is for Odell Beckham. I believe he needs 5 catches for an additional $250,000 or something to that effect. So he will be a target here. And I think if Pittsburgh wins this game, it will be a higher scoring game because Baltimore has injuries to the defense. And I think you'll see a bunch of guys sit out. Kyle Hamilton sat out last week. I think he'll sit out here. He's probably the top guy in the secondary. Patrick Queen is questionable. There's 2 other players that are questionable. And I do believe that Pittsburgh will be able to move the ball. But I also think that Baltimore will move the ball, depending on how many players they have in there. And at the very least, you'll have Beckham. So I think you're going to see some points here. Will Pittsburgh cover? I don't know, but I don't trust them. I wouldn't play them. And that's where I'm going to go with the game.
I'm glad you brought up the Odell Beckham and his incentives. There are a lot of players this week. Jordan Love has $4 million on the line in this game.
Wow.
It's literally $4 million in bonuses on the line. In between snaps taken, touchdown passes, it's insane, the list of his thing. Actually, hang out for one more segment, Paul. We'll get you out of here. We'll a couple of props, and we'll get you out of here.
Okay.
Because this is an interesting topic, actually, for player.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run, run, run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite.
I don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
56% is really good. Anything close to 60 is retirement level stuff. So there's way more people on the lower side of that. You have to learn how to manage that. This is a game of give and take. I mean, or come in quick and hit them and get out.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony. I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina, we've got new sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College football today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro football today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live all access.
In the NFC in terms of these wild cards and in terms of the playoff picture.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This has just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give you over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. That's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Kurtz is going to join us in a couple of minutes. We got Babano. We'll get Cam's golf picks. We're going to take a look at some of these player incentives right now. And I'll tell you what, guys, different sports books earlier in the week, depending on what time, you know what I mean, that they post the player props. But there's going to be more player prop movement this week than they're like next to a Super Bowl than there ever is. A couple of, years ago, it used to be sharp and smart and stuff to know about this player incentive stuff. Now everybody does. And people bet props more than they ever did before. So, look, Paul just stated, and rightfully so, Odell Beckham needs 5 receptions. And it's funny, I was watching Pat McAfee's show, and they were talking about this point blank. Pat McAfee basically said how Peyton Manning was such a cool dude. Peyton Manning knew everybody, Paul and Cam, and they were drawing it up. He said it was snowing, and they were drawing it up in the snow. They were like, you need 2 catches, right? And Peyton was like, get ready. Boom, boom. Like just 2, bam, bam. And then Peyton went into the huddle cam and he goes, who's next? Who's next?
Yeah.
And someone goes, bro, I need 48 yards, man. Okay. and Peyton would call the plays, and the coach is like, Peyton's whatever, he's just doing his thing. And Peyton was like, all right, who in the huddle? Who needs what? What? There was a story with Ryan Fitzpatrick. He hit a kid on the Bucs a couple of years ago with a big play. And the kid came up to him and he goes, dude, man, he goes, I just got $500,000 because of that, man. And he goes, I only make $800,000.
Yeah.
And Fitzpatrick goes, yeah, I know, kid. That's why I threw it to you. Right? Fitz
amazing.
Knew. He didn't tell him, though, Cam. He didn't tell him in the huddle, I'm going to do it.
I like that.
Man, Peyton's a funny guy, though. Hey, Peyton, all right, who's next? Who needs this? What you need to
awesome.
play? I'll get you.
Play with a guy
go
like
over the
that.
middle and I'll get you a catch right now. You know what I mean? Damn
right. Yep.
Aaron Rodgers talked about it too, and find it hard to believe he's as cool as Peyton, hooking people up. That was the whole thing. Aaron Rodgers was doing the interview, and Pat started talking about it. We saw Peyton Manning hook people up, and Rodgers said, oh, yeah. If you're the quarterback, you got to hook guys up and stuff. So like you said, Odell's going over this damn number, and he got a big-time incentive bonus. So 5 receptions for $200K, needs 2 touchdowns for another $250K.
Yeah.
If he gets 185 yards, he gets $750K. I don't think that's going to happen. Nelson Aguilar gets $250K with 58 receiving yards. That's something to keep your eye on. 58 receiving yards for Nelson in a non-win game for them. Gardner Minshew will receive a $2 million bonus for playing more than 65. All right, forget about that. Yeah. Joe Mixon, that's only $100K. Who cares?
Yeah, I saw that Joe makes a thing.
What's Hopkins again,
he needs
Gabe?
2 touchdowns, right?
with
Mixon
for
needs
100K.
Yeah,
They might
100K.
get it for him, though, just to be cool.
They
You know what I
might.
mean? It's still 100K.
Yeah.
Who'd you say? DeAndre Hopkins needs 7
yeah.
receptions for a $250,000 bonus. He also needs 49 receiving yards. Oh, boy. For $1 million. That's the one, guys.
You better give him the ball, Tanner.
Yeah.
You better put it up there, Tanner.
Mike Vrabel's a cool dude. Vrabel's a player's coach. I guarantee. So he needs 7 receptions for $250K.
Yeah, that's a lot.
He needs 49 receiving yards for $1 million.
That's attainable.
And 2 touchdowns, he gets another $250K. So
That's
put it
tough.
this way: if he had 7 catches, 2 touchdowns, and 50 yards, he would make $1.5 million in incentives.
Well, he'll be ready to go. Yep.
Yeah, I think with these, you also have to look at the owner. Maybe the owner
Yeah.
Is that the owner's a little tight, Paul? Like the Chargers? Thanos. Don't hit your target.
Well, it's
Don't
funny
hit
you
your
say
target.
that. It's funny you say that because Calais Campbell needs a sack actually on the Cowboys. So I wouldn't be surprised if they try to dial that up, stuff like that. There's a lot of snaps played ones. I'm sort of looking for like wide receivers. All right, well, Darius Slayton needs 1 catch for $2.5 million. Imagine if they didn't throw it to him.
Wow.
If the Mariners said, we're not throwing it to you. They told him, if you throw it to him, we're going to cut you. That's one where you do the quick out on the first play of the game. You're like, boom.
Yeah.
They're like, bro, and don't bitch to us. Don't talk to us the rest of the game. You got your money. Right?
Exactly.
Because, some guys, you'd be like, hey, man, come on, man. The Bills have a lot of guys on defense here. All right, that's about it. There'll be more of them popping up through the week and stuff. So, Paul, quickly on the way out, we got about 2 minutes with you here. What'd you think about the New York Knicks getting OG Anunoby and giving up R.J. Barrett and Quickly? And Quickly's pretty – listen, Barrett's good, but Quickly's a good young player, bro. Little young stud, man.
I don't know. The jury's out. I looked at his numbers, and I heard you speaking before, and look, the numbers, I'm not going to say they look bad, but they don't look earth-shattering. Let's put it that way. So I'm a little like
he's a role player. You gave up a lot for a role player.
You did.
I
and
know.
You're basing it on potential, right? Like the Raptors won that deal.
We have given up a lot of talent over the years. Mm-hmm. There is no question. So I'm just feeling that this may be another case where we tried to take a step forward. We took 2 steps back, but we never got back to where we were. And I'm worried. I mean, I'm
there
concerned.
Needs to be another piece to it. If you're the Knicks, there needs to be another piece to this. Like just bringing OG in isn't, like you said, you lost Barry, you lost Quickly, like it doesn't. OG's really good. OG's the type of guy you want on a championship caliber team, but you're not a championship caliber team right now. You need more players, right?
Right.
Supposedly, the Knicks believe that they can pull off another deal for a star player before the deadline.
I hope.
I don't, you know what I mean? I don't really buy in. And look, the Knicks are all in now. That's why they did this. They think, you know what, we don't want to wait forever and stuff, but I don't know. It was kind of a strange deal, actually. I think the Raptors, if you're the Raptors, it was a pretty good deal as far as you're concerned. And the thing with OG is now you're going to owe him a lot of money, too. Because he's one of these trendy players, Paul, that all the basketball nerds like. So they all, he's so amazing. He's so amazing. It's like, yeah, okay. He plays defense. So he tries on defense, but you're going to give him $40 million now? Right? Like, he's very erratic offensively. He's a good kid, though. Like, he plays hard. He's, you know what I mean? He can do a lot of things that people can't do. He's multidimensional. But as I stated, like, how did that work out for the Raptors? So is Scotty Barnes. So is Siakam. Right? Like, you need sort of, you know what I mean? They're not like ones, these guys. I don't know. It's hard to describe, like, his game, but he's a role player on a good team. He's not like hey, man, OG's here, and now we're going to win. Like, and the thing with him is, too, and I say this, and I know him pretty well. Not personally, but, like, I know him, and, like, he's shy and stuff. Like, he's not he's not like
New
the
York?
flex guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, he'll deal with the pressure. Like, he's good in pressure in games.
Yes,
but he's a quiet dude. He's like, put it this way. The Raptors waited for years for him to become a star. They thought, you know what? This guy could be the next Kawhi Leonard. It didn't happen. Right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Kawhi Leonard got better shooting. He took his game to like this 26, 30 points a night. OG is who he is. He's never changing. He is like, he's good, but he's not going to be Kawhi Leonard. That's my assessment. It's hard to be Kawhi Leonard, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, coming out of Indiana, people looked at him as a potential sort of two-way star, right? He plays defense. Can he add offense to that game? He never really did. I mean, he can shoot threes, but he's not a consistent, like, he's not a smooth offensive player. He just isn't. Nice kid, though. I really like him. So I'm not trying to badmouth him or anything like that.
He's good.
Yeah, good player. We're going to miss him. And I tell you what, like,
hope for the best.
Yeah. Hope for the best for RJ Barrett and quickly on the Raptors.
Yes. Yeah. Hope for the best.
They're good guys too. They deserve success. So hope they find it.
This might be a deal that everybody likes, actually. Raptor fan is happy right now. Knicks fan seems to be happy with OG. Everybody wins. Just like when you listen to Paul Bovey. You win.
Yeah.
Thanks, Paul.
Winners. Later, Paul.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
favorite. I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby, the money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
56% is really good. Anything close to 60 is retirement level stuff. So there's way more people on the lower side of that. You have to learn how to manage that. This is a game of give and take. I mean, or come in quick and hit them and get out.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony. I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina, we've got new sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College football today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro football today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live all access.
In the NFC in terms of these wild cards and in terms of the playoff.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This has just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give you over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. That's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage, Level 2. I am Morency. On the SportsGrid Radio Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. The Money or 1090 ESPN Radio will join us at Level 3, and Cameron will step up and in. I actually don't have any games going. I saw the Raptor game earlier a little bit, right when the show started, and I just have it on Sports Center here, so I've just sort of been seeing. There's been a lot of Buffalo Bill preview stuff here, so I never really changed a channel. I do have the over in the Sacramento-Orlando basketball game. I'm assuming Cam has his eye on his Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yep.
I said it, Cam, before the game started. Yep. I said, this is a dangerous spot. They beat the Kings last night. They'll turn around. Everyone thinks, oh, great, they got their stuff together, and then they'll lose to the Ducks.
You know this team like I know this team, Renzi. I told you. No, you did. And the best thing is, I'm actually going to admit this. I looked at this game and go, the Leafs might win this game, but Anaheim, they've been pretty cold. I took the under. And they gave me a 7.
Score. That's what I'm going to ask. There's 9 minutes left. They're down 1-0 only. That's the key. I don't think they are. I think the Ducks are going to score the next goal, actually.
What, 2-0 Ducks? Could happen.
Yeah. I think the Ducks. It's 4. They nearly just scored right now.
Yeah, I learned my lesson, Gabe, last night. I told you. Now that Jones is their starting goalie and the kid from the Marlies, he hasn't started yet. It's a defensive trap system now, George, right? You can't just take the over blindly with these guys. They played a perfect game against the Los Angeles Kings last night. And if you could tell, watching this team, it looks different. They're playing defense now because they can't hang Jones out to dry. Love it, Morency. We're going to take some unders with the Leafs. No guarantees, but you're right. This is the type of game they lose. We know that.
All right, George, are you on the Toronto Maple Leafs? Captain Chalk in the house.
Yeah. Mr. Minus 210.
I told Ranieri earlier today that the reason I'm not on the Leafs is because I watched SportsRage last night. And, and Cam went on his epic rant, which I thought was hilarious, by the way. And it kept going through my head today.
And then they went and won.
Cam said they I did my rant. The Cowboys.
No, I am not on the Leafs tonight. I was on the over. That's not happening. I can't believe Austin Matthews is going to go 2 games without a goal. So I was on him for an anytime goal scorer as well.
Listen, I said 9. There's still 10:35. I was wrong. There's 10. So there's 10 minutes left. 10 minutes.
They're out shooting him 41-24. I mean, it's not like they're poorly. They're not.
Yeah. So I wouldn't rip on them too much. They have 41 shots on goal with 10 minutes left.
I got nothing bad to say about the Leafs. My rant was last night, but I didn't know Dostal was the second coming of J.S. Jaguar.
Really good.
I can tell you that. This guy's standing on his head.
That had to eat you alive after,
it did, Gabe.
Leaving the show last night. What the Leafs winning?
I'm actually I got a lot of things going on, and I was watching the game going, wow, I go against the Leafs, and they played the perfect game, the best game they played probably in 2 years. Defensively, it was perfect. And I'm like, yeah, I'm an idiot. But
you willed it to happen, though. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I did it. I've done it, too. I did it I was at a Jets-Bills game a couple of years ago. It was the first game of the year. And I don't know if you guys remember, the Jets were up 16-3 or something with 7 minutes left. And I was lucky. I was in the luxury box, too, at MetLife Stadium. And I had a meltdown. I was like, I'm done. I took my jersey off. I'm like, I'm effing done with this team. They're terrible.
Yep.
So they can't even beat the Jets. The same crap. Like I said, you know what I mean? Josh Allen was throwing interceptions. I said, I can't. And I remember every Jet fan, everyone looked at me and they said, bro, I'll give you money right now. I promise you, we will screw this up and you will win. And the Bills ended up winning 17-16. They really did.
Yeah, I remember that game.
It was this collapse. The Bills came back and won somehow. So kind of seen it all here. But, all right, so it's 4-on-3 right now. There's only 12 seconds. But they got a shot here, and here it is right now.
They just almost scored.
They should
George
score
will tell
right
you.
now.
Dostal looks great, though. This Anaheim goalie, he's just, it's hilarious. Teams play the Leafs, and it's okay. They're peppering him, and he's, standing on his head. He looks really good.
It was nice when the goalie wins it for you.
Could be. A lot of time.
Look at number. He's made that save off Matthews, too. I got to use that goal.
I think it's number 77. I don't know who it is on the Ducks. Some dude on the Ducks, bro. Just got freaking drilled by a puck in the leg by Mitch Marner on that 4-on-3. It was from right after the face-off. Buddy on the Ducks got smoked. And you're on the Ducks, too. That's the thing people don't realize about hockey, Cam? The punishment.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's one thing to say, all right, listen, I took one for the team in the Stanley Cup Finals. And, it's no, this guy just took one for the team right now on a crap-ass Duck team against the Leafs. And just took a Mitch Marner slap shot off the calf. I saw it, bro. You could see him sort of wilt after it hit. I was like, "Oh, that hurt, bro." I
Your
know.
point was a
that
great
gotta
one.
hurt, bro.
You know what, Morency? You bring up a good point, too, and people remember this. It doesn't matter if the Leafs overrated, underrated. Everybody on Anaheim, they've had like the most Canadian players on their team. They grew up being Leaf fans. A lot of these guys, they love to beat the Leafs. Everybody wants to play these guys and beat their living
crap. That was my spiel. I said every one of these guys get the Leafs best shot, George.
Yes.
Yeah.
They play.
They're like the Cowboys.
They are like the Cowboys. They're so similar.
Whether
They're
they win
very
or not,
similar.
it's like everyone's watching. I'm from
so
here,
true,
especially hockey too. Like basically, about 25% of the league is from Ontario, right? Or played in the Ontario Hockey League. Then not even just the Ontario angle, the whole just the Leaf thing, but it's very similar, George. Where it's tough if you're the Cowboys. You get the other team's best shot all the time.
Every week.
Yeah, 'cause you're playing the Cowboys, and let's say the Cowboys are on national TV a lot, so you're always going to get the A team. It's tough, no doubt, but you got to be expecting that too. The Yankees, I guess, are the same way, right? It's the Lakers, I imagine. The Canadians would be also the same. Once again, the marquee franchise. I guess the NHL would be the original 6 franchises. We face that a lot here. It is what it is. You're not going to get the other teams' B effort too many nights here. So it's just frustrating.
There's only a few.
We have 44 shots now.
There's only a few buildings like that. You mentioned it. Montreal is one of them. Everybody gets a kick out of playing in Montreal. You're in the NHL. You
MSG.
It's like Yankee
MSG,
Stadium. That Montreal, MSG. No, but you know what, Cam? There's nothing special about the Leafs arena. There's something, the market and stuff, but we're talking about buildings. Like players aren't like, and even Montreal, their building is generic too now. Like there's no real building. MSG is the only real building left.
That's a good call.
It's the only one that's
They want to tear that down.
Yeah, they want to tear Dolan down more than the building, I think.
Chicago's is still pretty good, Gabe, when I travel around. Chicago's old school. They still got Oregon and all the other stuff. But you're right. Like Montreal has the pride, but it's a very generic, the new hockey arenas don't have that kind of vibe. Like, remember the Buffalo Auditorium with the shaky glass? Like every time you were there, it was like a very awesome place.
Well, every arena is the same now. They're all the same.
It's all the. That's exactly true. That's exactly right.
Well, in hockey, you can't make it different, right? I mean, every arena is the ice is the same, 200 feet. See, it's not like it's a baseball stadium. You can make big walls or weird stuff in the outfield. It's just the way it is, and they're not going to make it. The old Nassau Coliseum was you were close to the ice, everything was small, but now they have everything spread out now. So because it's all about luxury boxes, everything's about luxury boxes.
Yeah, you know what though? It's like the lighting is all like there used to be a uniqueness to it.
Yes.
Right, like each arena. Like I remember I was always a kid, I always loved the Philadelphia Spectrum because their glass was like the loudest and the craziest. Like it was like it would like you know what I mean? Like players would go into it and be like ba-bam, ba-bam, and it had that sort of like roller derby feel to it. You had the fog in Boston. The old Boston Garden would have the fog all the time. Listen, my grandfather played in the original 6 days, and I asked him, I said, what was your favorite arena to play in? And without missing a beat, he said MSG. But he was old school, and he goes, not that one there now, though. He goes, the one on Madison. He goes, the real one. You know what I mean? Like the original MSG. But, George, if Dolan wasn't Dolan, they wouldn't want to boot him. Let's just be real, right? I know they want to, whatever.
It's all about the MTA, the new Penn Station, everything they want to do there. Dolan may play a part of it. There are some legitimate
reasons. He plays a big part of it. He plays a big part of it.
He's in trying to think of a word I can use here on a family friend. Not the most liked
very
individual.
Litigious. Yeah, don't go Aaron Rodgers on me here. Yeah, don't go Aaron Rodgers and McAfee on me here. like, the views and opinions, Mr. Dolan.
Even McAfee apologized.
Curse is alone, not sports.
Yeah, McAfee, you see that today? He opened up the show like a 5-minute.
No lawsuits, baby.
I gotta be honest.
Prime, man. That's ESPN versus Disney, right? Kimmel's owned by ABC. That's in-house crime there.
I guarantee you, there's serious stuff going on behind the scenes right now with that.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
Not happy.
No, no. And we'll see. Now Aaron Rodgers will either have to apologize and or get sued. And you know what I mean? That's and it could end up. I wouldn't be surprised too if Kimmel does end up suing, because I'm not sure Rodgers will apologize. Puts McAfee in a tough spot, puts ESPN in a tough spot, upsets ABC, who, you know what I mean, is like bigger. Right? Like there's a lot there to it. You know, to me, it's just a stupid thing to say. Right? Like it's a stupid, just because there's stupid lists out there. Like, why, in what world would anyone even think, like, that Jimmy Kimmel, what's the connection? Like,
he's hated, Rodgers has hated him for years. They've had a feud for years, Morency. This is a deep-seated feud. It's gone on forever.
One thing to say, you know what, that guy sucks. His show sucks, right? And say, you know what, his show sucks. He's an idiot.
Yep.
It's another thing to call him a pedophile.
Yes.
Very different. Like slander law is very difficult. Like you know what I mean? Like people, I'm going to sue you because you say, like, I called you an idiot. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Like you call someone that's defamation. That's real defamation right there. That's not like, oh yeah, he drinks a lot. You know what I mean?
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
Right now, he's a little bit more over money, but he's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division favorite.
I don't care if they win, because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
56% is really good. Anything close to 60 is retirement level stuff. So there's way more people on the lower side of that. You have to learn how to manage that. This is a game of give and take. I mean, or come in quick and hit them and get out.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony.
I am disappointed that they lost to FAU because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina, we've got new sports books operating for licenses, and you know, a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College football today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro football today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live all access.
In the NFC in terms of these wild cards and in terms of the playoff picture.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This is just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give me over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. Yeah, that's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs, if at first you fail, just try 50 times. And that's what it took. The Toronto Maple Leafs scored a goal on their 50th shot. That's incredible. What an incredible performance by the Ducks. By the Ducks goalie tonight. Unbelievable stuff. But the Leafs actually score on their 50th shot of the night. They're doubling up. There's been 70. That's what's amazing. There's been 75 shots on goal in this game. There's only been 2 goals. The Leafs have outshot them 50-25. And John Tavares. So I got to tell you, George Kurtz, Islander fan. So there's love-hate relationship with John Tavares, but I don't know where this has come from. John Tavares is playing great hockey. He had a great year last year. You talk about all these other Leaf players, people talk about, Marner and Nylander and, of course, Austin Matthews, but Tavares has been pretty freaking consistent and pretty damn good. And I think, Cam, you should probably stop betting his under goal totals. And
I did it 1 year. Look at this guy, George. He's coming at me for a bet it was a bad bet. Yeah, I didn't realize he was Tavares drank from the fountain of youth. That's the best. Stop betting his goal under. You're right.
No, but a lot of people thought Tavares was slowing down and or done, George, but he's not, bro. He's playing great hockey. He's their best Leaf, to be honest. Every time I look up, he's the one that scores a big goal.
Nylander's playing well this year, too. Very well.
They're saying Nylander's close to 8 by 11. 11 plus million, 8 years. That was what Elliot Friedman reported today, that deal is likely to get done shortly.
That sucks. I was hoping they'd trade him to the Canucks.
He'd be happy there, too. That'd be a perfect fit for Nylander with all those guys there. Hoglander and all. Yeah, it's a freaking European party there in Vancouver.
Let's just keep going with the Leafs. They're a fantasy team. That's what the Leafs are. Nylander, Marner, Matthews, Tavares. They're a fantasy team, but to win it all is going to be rough. I mean, now they're hoping Joseph Woll's going to be a starting goaltender when he comes back, which I think is after the All-Star game. That's a lot to ask.
They're kind of screwed. They're in a weird spot, the Leafs, where they're you can't let these guys go because they're too good, but you can't win with them. They're like the
trade
Chargers or the Bills.
Need. You could trade a Nylander. You could trade a Marner for what you need.
I completely agree. They might have found the goalie, but the problem is nothing changes, Cam. So you sign Nylander, and I got to be real, too. $11 million a lot. He's good, but it's a lot of money in the NHL. So you sign him to an $11 million. The Leafs problem as it is, we discuss this every damn year when they lose in the playoffs, is they pay, this is the big thing, Kurtz, they pay 3 players basically 45% of the salary cap.
Correct.
It's like an NBA team that you see these, the Leafs are basically the Phoenix Suns, guys. So they have Durant, they have Booker, and they got Bradley Beal. And all right, you got not a whole hell of a lot. And the guys that you have never won before. So I can totally live with it if you add, you know what I mean? If you add some sort of base of Taves, Kane, Seabrook, these guys we win cups with, but we paid them a lot, but they carry us. You're paying all these guys on the Leafs half of your salary cap to lose in the first round of the playoffs every year. I'm with you, Kurtz. I would trade one of them. It has to be done. You don't have the depth otherwise.
Mark Giordano is one of the oldest players in the league on the blue line. There's no depth there. You're going to have to call up a goaltender. Martin Jones obviously can't keep this up forever. He's a career
with him,
backup.
Giordano, Cam, in my opinion,
I
like the pickup last year. I never would have kept him.
He's old. Exactly. He's old, man. He's old.
You know what I mean, George? He showed in the playoffs. He was tired in the playoffs.
Got no foot speed.
He'll be tired again this year in the playoff.
It's a problem.
They're not a and listen, you know what I mean? Dubas he did a good job in ways, and it's not, the new people come in here and stuff. It is what it is, but they're not a bad team. I mean, they could go on a run.
No, they're a very good team. And I think Joseph Woll is the best of what they have, right? They sent Samsonov down, mental head coach, and whatever. He needs help. Martin Jones have a nice little run here, but that's going to come back down to earth. The backup they have, by the way, now it looks like a child. I mean, my God, these hockey players look so young. Once again, maybe it's just get off my lawn, that sort of thing.
See the size of this guy, George? He's a monster.
Yeah, you saw the equipment?
Gabe, you see the size of this guy. He's like on skates. He's like, I've never seen, like, he's like huge. Yeah, you see his equipment.
I was on a plane today. I was on a plane today with a university, the UBC volleyball team. And they're a university men's volleyball team, Kurtz. And I swear to God, they look like 14 to me, like they seem like children. And we're talking about 6'9", 20-year-olds and stuff. Like they had peach fuzz on their face. They were all giddy. What aisle are you in? Oh, where are you sitting? And I was like, man, you guys are a university volleyball team. I'm like, God.
But even professional hockey players look like they're kids. They look like they're. I mean, when we were younger, Clark Gillies or Bobby Nysham. I know things are different back then. It was a lot.
People
took
look
care of
older
themselves
in the 70s.
Yeah, you're right, Morency. You watch those shows on MeTV. I'm like, man, that chick looks like she's 50 when she's 25.
Exactly.
Things are different back then. It's a different look.
Look at the NBA cam in the 70s, man. All those dudes with the afros and stuff. They looked like they were like 40 and stuff. It's like, no, he's only 24, man. He's 26.
Plus
like,
20.
He looks
it's
like,
so true.
Like, man, that guy he's seen a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah.
It's true. Like in the 70s and 80s, people just looked older. Like we looked like, I don't know, everyone looks young now. Like these kids, they look younger.
They all take care of themselves from day one, right? They all have coaches.
Speak for yourself.
When they were born.
Yeah, speak for myself.
Eating right.
You're right, George. Well, they went from drinking beers and smoking to riding bikes after games. Blame the Ottawa Senators for that change. They started that trend.
Gary Roberts.
Stupid. Yeah, and Gary. Yeah, Gary.
Gary Roberts. He was actually the first player to be in shape in the NHL. He was the first one with a workout plan. He was the first one with the whole off season. Like, you know what I mean? Like a lot of players, hockey sort of used to be like baseball before. I guess baseball's still the same way. But you're supposed to be in shape. Like Micah Parsons said that, Kurtz. I don't know if you remember this year. Micah Parsons showed up and killed someone in the first preseason game. Boom. I remember he was lighting people up in practice and stuff.
Yeah,
and he said, he goes, I'm ready to play. He said, I came to camp to play. I didn't come to camp to get in shape. I'm already in shape. Right? Like that's why he is who he is. Like the kids today, these players today, they're already in shape. In the old days, they'd show up with a big beer gut and stuff, show up to camp, right? All right, I'm going to skate it off.
Yeah, I'll lose the gut in camp. Don't worry about it. I'm fine.
Yeah. There's no workout.
You're talking about a team, by the way, in the Toronto Maple Leafs that have 3 players that are eating half the cap. The Cowboys are going to have 4 players eating over half the cap.
There you go. Right. They're very similar franchises and teams, though, aren't they? Like, same thing.
It's
you
exactly
don't win,
the
but
same.
you're...
Very similar results,
$50
too.
million a year.
Fair, but not
CeeDee Lamb's going to get $30
like...
million a year. Micah Parsons is going to get $1 gazillion, and Trayvon Diggs is already paid.
You are correct, George.
They got to win something. That's the whole thing.
They're going to a championship game this year. They're going to win the East. They'll get 2 home games. Although it would be so Dallas, by the way, to lose the first home game in the playoffs. That would be so Dallas to lose to Green Bay, Minnesota, Seattle, whoever they play. That would flip me out, by the way. I will freak.
Yeah, but we discussed this in which, to me, the easier matchup is going to Tampa Bay.
I would agree, but Dallas doesn't play well on the road. They play great at home, or better at home.
Didn't they murder Tampa Bay in the playoffs on the road, George? They murdered them. Remember? That was a road game. That was one of their best playoff performances on the road.
For people tuning in to put in context, it's kind of crazy and weird in a way, but the Philadelphia Eagles win a division all year. But this division, we should know. No one ever repeats this division. It really is whacked how this works
20
out.
years, 03, 04.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
There's something to it. The Eagles have completely choked. This division was all wrapped up. The Eagles have completely choked. Anyone think the Eagles will definitely beat the Giants on Sunday? I don't.
Okay, so my point is though, for everybody, for people who don't know the playoff scenarios, the Dallas Cowboys, oh great, we win a division. Philadelphia chokes. Yeah, okay. Now you're playing the Green Bay Packers. That I think most likely the Packers.
Agreed.
Okay, you should beat them. I get it. You're lucky it ain't the Rams, bro. Right? Like with that,
it might be the Rams.
And that's what I'm going to say.
Playing Sunday, right?
The Rams, that's not good. Yeah, they're playing the 49ers. And the Rams have already clinched their playoff spot. So now you get into what does McVay want? Who does McVay want?
He's resting everybody. Apparently he doesn't care. He's resting Stafford, Kyron Williams, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp.
So if he drops to 7, Kurtz,
they'll play the Cowboys, assuming Dallas wins.
Yeah.
Or Philadelphia
So
loses.
in other words, the Rams are not scared of the Cowboys then. They're
I don't think
figuring,
the Rams
all right,
care.
we'll go
We'll
to
play the
Dallas.
Cowboys over the Lions. The Rams don't seem to care. I don't think McVay cares. We'll play even teams, both indoors, both on turf, same team. I think that's the way he's looking at it.
Yeah, you're right.
Just get healthy.
Same
Be
teams. We're going to have to
healthy.
score
That's what he
points to
wants.
beat them. Like, Stafford would love to go back to Detroit.
Sure would.
That'd be wild. The NFL wants that. The NFL wants that, and they would love Green Bay at Dallas. That's once again another rivalry that Aaron Rodgers always beat the Cowboys in the playoffs. So Dallas beat Favre.
Well, that's the thing. And Jordan Love already beat the Bears to keep it going. You remember he trash talked them before the year even started to just keep the tradition going. The Bears have been playing their best football right now, right? I mean, this is as good as it's gotten for them.
Not a gimme game.
No.
3-point damn spread. It's not a gimme at all.
Aaron Rodgers has lost these games before. Like the last game of the year, needing this and that. I remember Teddy Bridgewater beat them with the Vikings before. They've been in this spot before, but I like the Bears. I've been betting on the Bears for the last couple of weeks. I'm a pro Justin Fields guy. I think they should keep Justin Fields and trade the first overall pick. But with that being stated, I'm also a big Jordan Love fan. I believe in him. I stuck by him, and I think he's about to finish it off, guys. He's had a great year with everything, all the adversity that he's faced. And I brought this up earlier, Kurtz. We were going over some of these player incentives. And Jordan Love has the most. It's absolutely insane. Jordan Love's incentives coming into this game this weekend. He can make $4 million. $4 million. Jordan Love in this one game. And basically, he's already there with a lot of them. But there's a few of them. The thing is, though, they're trying to get into the playoffs, so they're not going to be playing games. So this kid can get a couple extra $1 million here. But in his contract, if he took 65% of the snaps this year, he got $500 extra $1,000. He did that.
He got that.
He gets $500,000 if he's ranked in the top 16 in passing touchdowns. He's ranked 3rd. He gets another $500,000 if he's ranked in the top 10 in passing touchdowns. He's already ranked 3rd, so he's good. All right, he gets top 16 passing yards, $500,000. He's currently 10th. All right, so this is where it gets real, though, going into the game. He gets another $500,000 if he's top 10 passing yards. He's ranked 10th right now. He gets another $500,000 if he's top 10 passer rating. He's ranked 10th right now. He gets another $500K if he's top 16 passer rating. So he's got that. He's got another one, top 16 completion percentage for $500K, and he's 21st right now. You just dump off a bunch of screen pays, man. Boom, boom, you get your percentage up.
Look.
Quarterback at quarterback. We're going to lay some juice. We're going to have some dog prices, and we're going to go right in the middle.
Because I don't know what they're doing. To me, they're in a complete rebuild, Kev.
Go run. That's where overbackers on this 51.5 shot.
So right now, he's a little bit more over money, but it's hovering right around.
The winner of this game will be the division
I
favorite.
don't care if they win because all we care about is the money, baby. The money.
Pro Football Today. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
56% is really good. Anything close to 60 is retirement level stuff. So there's way more people on the lower side of that. You have to learn how to manage that. This is a game of give and take. Or come in quick and hit them and get out.
The Bostonian versus the Book.
We spent all offseason where the NFL said, hey, just so you guys know, running backs don't matter. If we then this year give the MVP to a running back, the irony. I am disappointed that they lost to FAU
because secretly I don't really like this FAU team very much. I don't know. They're just not for me. And now they've completely legitimized the Owls.
Game time decisions. Only on SportsGrid.
North Carolina, we've got new sports books operating for licenses, and a lot of news always coming out of there. One of the fresh sports betting states.
Well, they're a little behind the ball there, so I don't know if they'll be at the starting line in North Carolina. But yeah, a really interesting mix of applicants this early on so far.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid. SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. Fantasy sports today.
They were saying there's no way he could not possibly do this. He won't hold out.
Pro League Soccer
The
powered by Marca.
Scoring teams in the league. They have 80 goals so far.
College football today.
The Hawks team total in the first half is 0.5.
Pro football today.
Interesting props in this game, but I would be cautious laying this number here with the Houston Texans.
In-game live all access.
The NFC in terms of these wild cards and in terms of the playoff picture.
In-game live, prime time.
Rich, I don't know, man. This has just been one of those games that doesn't make a lick of sense.
In-game live, overtime.
You want to give the over 3-1 on a pretty good team. It's hard not to take some flyers.
Football full circle.
Well, NFL officials stink. They always will stink, and they'll always ruin the game. That's just part of what it is.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. Man, time flying by. Dear God, 154, 148. Pistons and Jazz tonight. That game went over the number. A lot of high-scoring games tonight in the association. We got close games going on in the NBA right now, though. 74-72 for the Heat over the Lakers. There's 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And I've got over 235 and a half because I didn't get it in at 231 when it tipped off because I'm an idiot. And it's currently 234 and a half in Orlando and Sacktown. Sacktown were up big, and of course they do what they do. They blew the lead. It's 99-95 right now. So we got two close games here. You know what? I'm going to get in on a couple of picks. I'm here. So let's roll. Give me the Lakers plus the give me the Lakers plus 3.5. And give me the Magic plus 3.5. Little in-game action. Both dogs plus 3.5.
I got to be honest with you. Why don't you take both on the money line? And if one of them wins, you win more. Plus 134 and 165. Why not?
Oh, because I'm a coward, I guess.
I would say you're a coward, but you just want the 3.5. Okay. Because I'm a coward. That was good.
No, just popped up to 5.5 too, Cam. It's they're down by 7 now too. Hey, buddy,
there you go.
No. Let's just go.
It's a fluid market, very fluid. Things change quick.
Oh, no, I'm only getting 1.5 with a Magic now. God.
Everybody's happy. Everybody's happy.
Yeah,
Game goes under. Hey.
I don't want to be a jerk, but I told Kurtz after he celebrated, Cam. I said, man, you're lucky they count those goals. Like, what? It's kind of like, honestly, like it's easier. There's no one on the ice. Like, should you really be getting credit? Like, and if you're going to credit from that, why don't you credit like the penalty shot goal then?
The problem with that one though is like, so you have to give the goal. You can't give a goal like
they don't want to hurt the goalies' goals against.
Yeah, dude,
that's the thing. Goalies, Cam, are like, you're not counting this. Like, if you know what I mean, like,
we went to 14 rounds of the shootout. Thanks, jerks.
But they make up rules as they go, anyways, bro. Just say it's not counting for you; it's counting for them. All right?
Yeah, I guess.
Or have a new stat, shootout stat. Yeah, like whatever. All right, Kurtz's NFL picks. The other side.